Greetings, young people. This is Principal Kafele, and welcome to another edition of what I'm now calling Message to the Youth. See, in other words, I think I've done 210 videos called Message to Your Son, and they've been watched by young men all over the country, all over the U.S. and different parts of the world for that matter. But also, the young ladies have watched them because they've been shown in classrooms, in homeroom. And young ladies have been asking me all over the country, they say, why don't you include us? You keep talking to the boys. You keep talking to the young men. Why don't you talk to us? So I decided for 2017, going into the 2017-18 school year, we're going to call this thing Message to the Youth. So that means now we got the young men and the young ladies in the same video. So let's get started. This is a back to school message, back to school 2017-18 school year. I'm going to try to keep this one short. I'm going to try to keep it brief, but I got stuff on my mind. Look here, young people. The summer, depending on what part of the country you're in, is coming to a close. You see me out here, I'm sweating. I just checked into a hotel. It's hot out here. I'm in Katy, Texas, which is right near Houston. It must be 95 degrees out here. I'm by the pool. I'm not jumping in. I just came out here because I didn't want to do the video in my room. So I'm out here. I got back to school on my mind. A lot of students in the South are going back now, or some of them have started. Then throughout the country, it'll be like a wave, and all the way up to the Northeast or the Northeast, students will be going back early September, right? So back to school for everybody. So let's jump right into it. Let me tell you something. You've been away for 2 months. 2 months away from school, with the exception of those of you who went to summer school or other summer enrichment programs. But now it's back to the real grind, the school year, the 10-month grind. And I'm saying to you that you have got to put forth your best effort going into this school year. I don't care what happened last year. I don't care if it was a rough year, your roughest year, that you were non-productive. Right? That's in the past now. I mean, it matters, don't get me wrong, but it's in the past. This is a new year. It's a new beginning. It's a reset on your academic life. So I'm saying to you from day one, I hope I caught you before you started your first day, because from day one, you've got to go in there with the right attitude. That's crucial. Your attitude has got to be positive. You have got to be focused. So you can't go in there and now you go in there messing around, you go in there playing around, you go in there socializing, and your focus is on all the wrong things. That's not going to work. Because let me tell you something. I don't care what anybody tells you about education. Education is your ticket. Education is your key to your success. That's what it is. It's your ticket. It's your opportunity. It's what creates the possibilities. You can't do this without education. You can't live your life on your terms, doing the things you want to do without your education. You can't do it. So if there's somebody out there in your life, somebody out there in your world that's trying to convince you that you can circumvent, meaning go around education, I'm telling you, they are selling you just all the wrong stuff. They're telling you things that are counterproductive, that are going to do you in over the long haul. You need education. You need to have that academic information coming at you on a regular basis. See, when I say academic information, those subject areas that you're taking, as boring as some of you may say they are vital. You've got to know science. You've got to know mathematics. You've got to know language arts. You've got to know history. You've got to know another language. You've got to know PE and health. You've got to be physically fit. And I can go on and on with all the subject areas that are offered in your school. That academic background is vital. So if there's somebody in your life, if there's somebody in your circle that's trying to convince you that education is not important, you tell them Principal Kafele said you are dead wrong. Education is an absolute necessity. So you got to go in there with the right mental attitude. You got to go in there with the mindset this year. I don't care what happened last year. You got to go in there with the mindset that I've got this, that I'm ready to take this to another level of accomplishment, that nothing's going to stop me, that no one's going to stop me. See, that's the mindset. That's the mentality. That's what you got to take in there. You got to go in there knowing that, yes, I'm going to have to work hard. I'm going to have to take care of business. I'm going to have to work hard at home, work hard in school, do the homework, do the studying, do everything my teachers tell me to do everything my principals tell me to do everything my counselors, my parents, all the significant stakeholders in my life. I got to do the things they tell me to do because they know more than I know because they've been in the world longer than I have. See, you got to go in there with the right attitude. You see me starting to sweat out here. It's hot out here. It's blazing out here, but it doesn't matter. I got a message to share. Let's go a little deeper. There's some of us out here, we've got this dream of becoming professional athletes or professional entertainers. We've got this dream. And I shouldn't even use the word some. I should say there's a whole lot of us out here who have these ambitions of becoming these professional athletes or professional entertainers. Well, I'm not one to stifle dreams. If that's your dream, then you pursue it. You give it all you got. But let me tell you something. You have got to have a backup plan because in the context of the total population, it's just a little small smidgen of people that actually make it in professional sports and professional entertainment. It's just a small little percentage, that big, in the context of the full population. Everybody's not going to make it. That everybody might include you. So you got to have some kind of backup plan. Backup plan B, C, D, E, F, and G. You can't put all your eggs in the one basket, the entertainment basket, the sports basket, because you don't know if that's going to happen for you. In order for you to be a top flight athlete on the professional level, you got to be a world-class athlete. I mean, you got to be elite. You got to be the best. You got to be one of the best born because that's what the professional athletes are. As an entertainer, I mean, you got to be a superstar in the making. See, so everybody's not going to make that. And again, I'm not here to discourage it, but I am here to say you got to think realistically. You got to have a backup plan. So don't put your eggs in the sports and entertainment basket, all of them, and then you don't have a focus on those other things you need to do, those other professions in the world. When I do more of the videos, because I'm going to do about 200-300 of these things. This is just number one of message to the youth. We're going to talk about some of those other options, some of those other careers, some of those other things that you can be doing with your life. But for right now, this is just introductory. This is back to school. So I'm saying to you that as you're preparing to go to that first day, or if you already started, as you're preparing to go to that next day, you got to go in there with the right attitude, meaning that you got to believe in you. I don't care if there's no one in your life that believes in you. You must believe in you. That's vital. You got to go in there knowing that I can do this. I can do this work. I may love this work, but I may not love this work, but I certainly can do this work. That's the mindset. So you go in there with the belief in you that you have what it takes because you're special, you're somebody, you're extraordinary, you're phenomenal, and you can never forget that. That's what you are. Number two, you got to go in there with purpose. Look and see the other video I made about purpose. I don't have to go deep into that. Understand you got to have a definition for your life, which means who you are and what you are. You got to have a purpose for doing the work that you're going to be doing. Why are you there? You got to figure out your why. Why do you exist? Why are you here? Why do you take up space? Why are you in the world? What's your why? What's your reason? What's the things you're going to do with your life one day as a result of the education that you're receiving right now? You got to have purpose for walking into that classroom. Have your parents, have your teachers, have other significant people in your life help you to define and refine your purpose for existing. Number three, you got to understand your obligation, young people. You have an obligation to be great. You're not average. You're not mediocre. You're not just anybody. You're somebody special. That's what you are. So you have an obligation to maximize your potential and be somebody great. But it starts with your education. If you mess up the education, you squander the education, then your life's chances relative to your success later on have been diminished because you destroyed your foundation. You stand on a weak, flimsy foundation. But if on the other hand, you take care of your foundation, which means your education, now you got something firm to stand on as you strive to fulfill all the things that you're expected to fulfill. But you got to understand you have an obligation to excel. You have an obligation to achieve at high levels. How dare you settle for less? How dare you accept average and mediocre for your own life. You can't do it. You have an obligation to be great. So let's get it done. Number 4, determination. I'm saying to you, you got to have drive. You got to have ambition. See, you got to be about something. You got to want it. You got to want it from within. That not just my mother wants it for me, my parents want it for me, my father wanted it for me, my teachers want it for me, my friends want it for me, my family, my cousins, whomever wants it for me, but I want it for myself. You got to want it for you. You can't have people just always pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. That's not a bad thing, but at some point you got to push yourself. You got to want it from within. You got to be passionate about achieving high grades in school, because high grades translates into the college acceptance and the college scholarships, going to school for free. But see, you're achieving the low grades, then you diminish the possibility of you achieving those scholarships and those acceptances into the colleges and universities of your choice anywhere in this country. See, you got that. It's in your hands. You got power in your hands. But you got to have that ambition. You got to have that determination. You got to have that drive. You got to have that passion. You got to want it from within deep. You got to go for it and make it happen. So I said so far, you got to have belief. You got to have purpose. You got to have obligation. You got to be determined. And the last word, and then I'm going to shut it down, is vision. You got to see yourself already being successful. See, right now you're working toward getting there, but you got to see it in your mind's eye, in your imagination, that you're already there. You got to see that. And as you see it in your mind's eye, as you dream it, as you imagine it, you make it more so reality later on, because you see what it looks like. You see what it feels like. So you got to have vision. You got to see yourself doing big things with your life as a result of what you do in school today, literally. See, so you going to school today, you going to school tomorrow, next week, week after, month after month after, year after year after. All that is the preparation. That's the process. That's the planning for you later on when you live in your life on your terms. Right now, I'm sitting here at this hotel out here by the poolside. But guess what, young people? I'm self-employed. I work for myself. My company is called Principal Kafele Consulting. I'm my own boss. But that's because I took advantage of education. I gave it my all so that I could one day be self-employed, be my own boss, and call my own shots. I'm saying to you, your life can be the same if that's what you wanted. Or maybe you want to be employed and doing whatever that thing is that you love and making the kind of money that you want to make. Well, then you can't go to school messing around. You can't be in classroom talking. You can't be in the classroom playing. You can't be in the classroom daydreaming. You can't be in the classroom unprepared. You can't be in the classroom being disrespectful to your teacher. You have got to be the model student in your classroom, handling your business, taking care of business. You're prepared. You're focused. You're doing what's expected. In fact, let me give you these 5 words real quick, and then I'm gonna sign off. You got to be serious while you're in that classroom. Yes, you've got to be serious. There's a time to play, there's a time to joke, there's a time to laugh and all that kind of stuff. There's a time to be silly. But once you walk into that classroom, you've got to be serious about you, serious about your education. You got to be serious, young people. Number 2, you got to be focused like this. Laser sharp focus. Not all out here. But you're in that classroom, you are focused on what your teacher is delivering to you. You got to have that laser sharp focus on what your teacher is giving you in that lesson. Your mind can't be drifting. You have got to be just zeroed in, locked in. You can't hear some kid next to you, some classmate. You can't be hearing that. Some other distraction going on. You can't be hearing that. It's just you and your teacher and that lesson. You have got to maintain focus if you want to be successful. Don't watch this video in your classroom and then 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, you look back on the video and say, man, I messed up. I should have listened to Principal Kafele. Now life is miserable for me because I didn't listen. No, listen to what I'm saying and do what I'm saying, so that you can enjoy success with your life later on, instead of looking back saying, I should have made better moves. I should have made better decisions. I don't want you to be in that predicament. So therefore, listen to what I'm saying to you right Now, word number 3, you got to be diligent. That means you got to be a hard worker. You got to work, 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 and work. You got to give it everything. That's what it takes. You got to work them long hours into the night studying and preparing for the next quiz, the next assessment, the next exam. You got to work. When you're in the classroom, you got to work. There's no time for play. You got to be diligent. Number 4, you got to be disciplined. That means that not only are you waiting for your parents and teachers to tell you what to do, but more importantly, you know what to do. You know when to do it. You know when to get up in the morning and get ready for school. You know what time you need to leave the house. You know what time so that you can be to school on time. You're disciplined. You get to class on time. You get to the next class on time. You've got your supplies. You've got your materials. You've got your books. You've got your homework. You've got everything you need because you are self-disciplined. And finally, number 5, you're resilient. Yeah, you'll have setbacks. Yeah, there'll be tough days. Yeah, there'll be times when you make a wrong move or you just didn't do as well as you thought you were going to do. That's a setback. That's all it is. But in order to bounce back, you got to be resilient. That means you have the will to get up on your feet and move forward. See? So toward being successful, you got to be resilient. You got to have the willingness to bounce back after every setback. I know you got it in you young people. So let's make it happen. So again, let me recap and close it out. I said you got to go into that classroom every day as one who believes in yourself, has a sense of purpose, understands your obligation, you have determination, and you got vision for where you're going one day. But then I said you got to be serious along the way, focused, diligent, disciplined, and resilient. Make sure that those 5 characteristics stay with you the whole way through. And if you do, I'll see you in the winner's circle later on, right? So let's get serious. Let's go. So, hey, I'm done. Again, this is Message to the Youth. I did 210 Message to your son videos, but now I got to bring the girls in here. So this is Message to the Youth. This is the young men and the young ladies. So enough said. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. This is Principal Kafele. This is my back to school message. I'm on fire, and I expect you to be on fire. So let's make it happen. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.